Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished ambassadors and guests, distinguished representative of the U.S. government and of Washington, D.C., happy Africa Day. We need a reaction. Happy Africa Day. Or perhaps I should also say in French, Bonne journée de l'Afrique. And of course, it's Dia de Africa. And pardon me for this, the Arabic version, Yaumu Afrikia al-Saidi. Amazing. So I am Landry Signé and I am Executive Director and Professor at the Thunderbird School of Global Management in Washington, D.C. And I'm also a Senior Fellow at the Brookings Institution and a Co-Chair of the World Economic Forum Regional Action Group on Africa. I am deeply honored and grateful to serve as your Master of Ceremony today for the celebration of the 62nd anniversary of the birth of the Organization of African Unity and its successor, the African Union. And if our callers upstairs, can you pay collect upstairs? Can we make sure that everyone is ready for the is quiet so that we can pursue their conversation properly? Amazing. So I will not take a longer time. I really want to give the floor to Her Excellency Hilda Suka Mafudze for the welcome remark. Of course, everyone knows her. I will not the United States, but to the greater North America and the Americas in general. And I like to call her our Mother Africa here in the Americas. So please give her a very warm welcome. Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you, Professor Signé, for your kind introduction and for your continuous support. I think I have to do it at the beginning so that I don't forget to thank you. Your Excellency, Ambassador Sage Mumboli, Ambassador of the Republic of Congo to the US, our Dean of the African Diplomatic Corps. Your Excellency, Ambassador Agostino Van Dumen, Ambassador of the Republic of Angola to the US and current Chair of the African Union. Our esteemed guest, Ambassador Troy, who is not yet here, Senior Bureau Official, Bureau of African Affairs at Department of State. Your Excellencies, our distinguished guests, members of the African Diplomatic Corps, African Diaspora, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon and happy Africa Day 2025. I give you this warm welcome to your house, which is Africa House, on this joyful occasion. Let me preface my remarks by quoting a renowned Nigerian author, Chinua Achebe, whose insightful thoughts on African traditional life I find relevant to this gathering. In this novel, Things Fall Apart. Okay, let me ask, how many people have read Things Fall Apart? Ooh, we're quite a number. I love this. Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe had this to say, and I quote, "A man who invites his kinsman to a feast does not do so to save them from starvation. They all have food in their own homes. When we gather together in the moonlight village ground, it is not because of the moon. For every man can see the moon in his own compound. We come together because it is good to kinsmen to do so. Is this well understood?
Yes.
It's for a reason that we come together, especially on this occasion of Africa Day, where we have to celebrate this special day. By this thought-provoking statement, Chinua Achebe was highlighting the importance of the constant coming together and the fellowship of kinsmen and kinswomen in the typical African tradition. He was underlining the importance of shared experiences and of the collective sense of commonality, oneness, and belonging of a people. It is in the same spirit and context, Your Excellencies, that I am pleased to welcome each one of you to Africa House on this special occasion as we celebrate Africa Day. Today, Africa House is our own version of Chinua Achebe's proverbial moonlight village ground. Each one of us has left the comfort of their respective compounds and their departments, institutions, and embassies to come and celebrate our common heritage together in the true spirit of African kinsmen and kinswomen. This because, like Chinua Achebe rightly observes, it is good for kinsmen to do so. As a mission serving the village ground for the hosting of this very important event is a distinct honor we greatly value and appreciate. It further reaffirms the mission's symbolic role as the rendezvous of rallying point of the rekindling and revitalizing of our Pan-African unity and the solidarity here in Washington, D.C. Indeed, all this strongly resonates with the theme of African unity that we celebrate today, embedded in Aspiration 2 of Agenda 2063 of an integrated continent, politically united and based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of Africa's renaissance. Such unity matters particularly in the current geopolitical environment more than any time before. It represents the foundation for a stronger, more resilient, and self-determined continent aligned with Agenda 2063, Aspiration 7 of an African as a strong, united, resilient, influential global player and partner to which we are all committed. I want to thank everyone who participated or cooperated in this endeavor, which, as you may recall, had its fair share of challenges beyond our control, particularly the time constraints. My profound gratitude in this regard goes to the ambassador of Algeria, Uganda, and Zambia for the leadership they provided. This is for the leadership they provided in their capacities and as co-chairs of preparatory committee, alongside the ambassador of Angola. I also want in this connection to acknowledge and make particular mention of the 17 of our embassies who are exhibiting today. What they have to offer, from gastronomy to information on their national tourist attractions. With your permission to dispense with their full identification, those exhibiting are the Embassy of Algeria, the Embassy of Angola, the Embassy of Cameroon, the Embassy of Central African Republic, the Embassy of Chad, the Embassy of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Embassy of Egypt, the Embassy of Guinea, the Embassy of Mauritania, the Embassy of Morocco, the Embassy of Mozambique, the Embassy of Namibia, the Embassy of Senegal, the Embassy of South Sudan, the Embassy of Sudan, the Embassy of Zambia, and the Embassy of Zimbabwe. Please join me in thanking these participating embassies for their valuable contribution. Last but not least, I want to thank all the volunteers present today, as well as my team here at the mission, for their dedication and their full engagement. I'm just like a guest at this party. They ran around and made sure everything was put in place. I thank you all, guys, who are my team. As I conclude, may I take this opportunity to thank each one of you for honoring us with your presence. Wishing you all a happy, prosperous 2025 Africa Day. Long live the Pan-African unity. Long live the Pan-African solidarity. Long live the long-standing and the historic friendship between Africa and the United States of America. Thank you.
Incredibly amazing, Excellency. We are so grateful for your extraordinary leadership. Please give another round of applause. So now allow me to call Abiodun Koya, classical operatic singer, actor, and screenwriter, who will be singing the United States of America and African Union anthems. And please raise for the anthems.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. Our sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky. Let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us all unite and sing together to uphold the bonds that frame our destiny. Let us dedicate ourselves to fight together for lasting peace and justice on earth. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky. Let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us all unite and join together to give the best we have to Africa. The freedom of mankind and fount of culture, our pride and hope as the breath of dawn. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky. Let us make Africa the tree of life.
What a powerful voice. So please acknowledge her again. Now we will give the floor for the opening remarks to His Excellency Serge Mombuli, Ambassador of the Republic of Congo and Dean of the African Diplomatic Corps. Excellency, we are incredibly grateful for your leadership of the Diplomatic Corps. So I think with your presence and your role, Africa is more visible and has agency on here in the United States. So please welcome, Excellency.
Thank you. Welcome again here at Africa House. Thank you, Ambassador Suka Mafuze, for allowing yourself and our dear colleague to celebrate Africa Day here today in this house. So, Excellencies, Ambassador, member of the African Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Representative of U.S. government. I welcome also Ambassador Troy Fitter from the State Department, including our colleague from the White House. We are all today here to celebrate a big day, the day that put Africa together. You know how and why the Organization of African Unity was created, and then it changed to African Union. It was done for the benefit for Africa to be able to deal in a stronger position with other continents and countries in the world. So I welcome the ambassador of Angola, who is representing today the President of African Union, the President of the Republic of Angola. And I would like to thank all the co-chairs of this event, Ambassador of Zambia, Ambassador of Algeria, Ambassador of Uganda. So congratulations for the good job of this organization. So, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. As the Dean of the African Diplomatic Corps, I extend my sincere gratitude to Your Excellency, Ambassador, High Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, for honoring us with your presence at the commemoration of Africa Day 2025. This occasion celebrates the unity of African people and their descendants. It was said by Dr. Rita Bissonnat, Director and UNESCO representative, the theme of this year, which was revisiting our story, shaping our future. However, here in Washington, today, theme of this event is African unity. Africa will survive only if it is united, like the United States of America. So we want to be united too. On this special day, our commitment to unity and celebrate the enduring strength of Africa and its people. So, please, let's all say Happy Africa Day 2025. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Excellency Dean of the African Diplomatic Corps. So, we are deeply grateful for your words of wisdom. Please give him another round of applause. Now it's my pleasure to give the floor to the representative of the United States government for its remarks, Ambassador Troy Fitzgerald, Senior Bureau Official at the Bureau of African Affairs. So, Ambassador, we are deeply grateful for your presence today and for your leadership in reshaping U.S.-Africa relation. And you are not just present today, but you are always present in any places where conversation about Africa are at the center of the preoccupation of leaders. So please give him a very warm welcome.
Thank you, everyone, and chers ambassadeurs. I think it was working. Yeah, there we go. Chers ambassadeurs, nossos amigos portugueses. It's wonderful to be here today. Of course, as we said, we're celebrating 2 birth years of this united Africa. 1963, of course, but the creation of the African Union was in 2002 in Lusaka, and I was there. It was an absolute pleasure and joy to be there at the construction, at the birth of the modern African Union. And I can tell you, as we sat in Lusaka that day, we were filled with optimism. And then during Muammar Gaddafi's speech, suddenly the lights went out. And at first we thought, what is happening? And then we heard the generators rumble into life, and the lights came back on, and we realized, no problem, we've got this handled. We know how to manage interruptions. Everything went forward. But in that brief moment, I think everyone was thinking the worst. But I would like to say that the growth we've seen in the African Union is we do not automatically assume the worst anymore. Africa is a dramatic and important partner on the international stage, and it's been an absolute joy to watch the growth and maturity of the institution, because that never ends. You know, speaking of growth and reform, you've probably heard a bit about the United States government making some changes recently, as we have, because you adapt or you die. Everyone knows that you need to grow, you need to reflect the current realities on life and where you want to go, not just where you've been. And so the reform we've had in the State Departments and across the United States government has been absolutely critical in reflecting the modern relationships that we have with our friends and partners with the African continent. And you know, I gotta be honest, I'm a little tired of always hearing about the potential of Africa. I think it's a little more important to recognize that Africa is astride the world stage now. A united Africa, a united African Union, and the sovereign states that make it up. For the United States government, our new policy is basically about economic growth, migration, and peace. And for all 3 of those items, the African continent, the African Union, and the African sovereign states are absolutely critical. So we reach out as partners. Our economic issues, our migration issues, and especially the support for peace opportunities all over the world where Africans serve well and bravely, that these are our partners. We reach as equals and as peers, and may God bless a united Africa. And thank you all for letting me be here today.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Troy, for such an inspiring message. So, let me now give the floor to Harrison Poku Yeboah on behalf of Mayor Muriel Bowser to give the proclamation to Ambassador Soka Mafudze.
Thank you very much. My name is Harrison Poku Yeboah. I am the Director on African Affairs, and I am honored to be here. I am from Ghana. And on behalf of Mayor Bowser and the great city of Washington, D.C., I am honored to extend our heartfelt congratulations to the African Union as we celebrate Africa Day. This day is a powerful reminder of the strength, unity, and resilience of the nation and the people of Africa. Your contribution to the world in culture, innovation, and leadership continue to inspire and shape and brighten the interconnected future of all. Washington, D.C. stands proudly with the African Union in honoring this rich heritage of Africa and building the bridges to foster collaboration and the mutual respect. Today, we celebrate Africa's past, present, and future with a deep admiration and unwavering support. Thank you very much. And here's the proclamation, and Mayor Bowser sends her greetings. Thank you very much.
Is there someone for an official picture of the... Yes. Now we'll give the floor, so, well, for that proclamation, please allow me to celebrate again, so that is amazing. So as you will have already observed, I love celebrating, so I think it's, every time it is, we can celebrate, I'm very enthusiastic about it. So now please give a warm welcome as well to Dr. Val Okaro-Bisson, General Counsel and founder of Afrocosmos Development Impact, for her special remark.
Thank you so much, Professor Landry, and also all protocols observed. And thank you so much, Ambassador Excellency Suka Mafutsi, for giving me this opportunity to give a quick, I know it's 5 minutes, and I'll make sure that I keep to the 5 minutes statement on vitality of African unity and all protocols observed. Happy Africa Day to all the excellencies, ambassadors, and distinguished guests here. I have 5 minutes, so I'm going to do a quick one here, just a quick zip. I have 3 points to make. First, the meaning, how we see the meaning of African unity. What does it mean in terms of unity? Also, what's the goal of unity? And then thirdly, the measures that have been put in place in terms of structures, and then next measures. But I want to start with a quote, and I know that Ambassador Fitchell mentioned, "Adapt or you die," which I wondered if you had read the quote of our founding father, Kwame, His Excellency Kwame Nkrumah. I want to also say today that I'm very grateful to the 32 founding fathers of African independence, and who helped us, of course, to get independence from the colonial era, and also for spearheading the OAU, which was the precursor to the African Union. The OAU, as you rightly mentioned, in 1963, and then the African Union in 2002. But quickly, just to give a quick quote, to echo and borrow from His Excellency Kwame Nkrumah, "Africa must unite or die, or perish," is the word he used. And the goal of the unity, in terms of unity, we see unity in terms of economic, political, I think Ambassador alluded to that earlier, and also economic growth. How do we have that unity for our 55 nations to speak with one voice? That's the goal, for us to have the unite, to be able to come together, speak with one voice, to strengthen Africa's economic growth, and also to achieve peace and prosperity for all 55 nations of Africa. Now, in terms of progress, I want to say that a lot of progress has been made, because as I alluded to the fact that it's political, it's also economic. On the political front, a lot of progress has been made, because within the AU Commission, there's the, of course, the Peace and Security Department, which has been handling and resolving peace within the region. We also have the diaspora, which is the 6th region, which I commend Ambassador Suka Mafutsi for bringing all the members of the diaspora, the African diaspora, together to help to Africa with sustainable development and growth. You've done a wonderful job, and I think we should I know we've given you enough clap, but please, if you can join me, because she's doing an awesome job in uniting us. This is about unity. And so on that front, and also I don't want to forget my friend, colleague on the economic front, AFCFTA. So progress has been made. I don't want to, because we don't have a lot of time. I'm sure most of you know about the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is supposed to promote, which is aimed at promoting intra-Africa trade in Africa, value-added products. Progress has been made, and maybe you can talk to me later if you debate it, but 3% increase in terms of trade since its inception, operationalized 2021, but came into effect 2019, but because of COVID, it slowed down a little bit. But, and also, I just want to say that there's still room for more progress. In other words, within the framework of economic, the AU Commission has done a good job, of course, in establishing financial institutions. The African Central, well, on paper so far, but they're making progress. The African Central Bank, the African Monetary Fund, and the African Investment Bank. They're making progress now in practicalizing those aspirations that were put in place in the year 2000. The question becomes, how do we move it forward? And I want to borrow from another quote, which is that you can't bite the hand that feeds you. It's a Greek philosopher that said that. So for Africa to really unite, we have to have that strength too, which, of course, I want to borrow from George Washington, who was the first president of the United States, who talks about peace through strength. Very important for Africa to gain peace through strength. And sometimes people allude to strength in terms of military, but like I said earlier, in terms of our unity, I don't see African unity, and now let me wear my attorney hat, I don't see it as a means to interfere in the internal affairs of each African country. We have to bear in mind that African unity is not intended to undermine the sovereignty of each African country. It's not also aimed at interfering, as I said, in the internal political affairs of each country. It's also not meant to promote bad relations and to hate other non-African countries. It's actually meant to help Africa to gain peace through that strength of unity. And so let me quickly, and I know I have a few more minutes left, but in terms of progress, I'm pleased that Africa is making progress, but just to allude to that question of the political side, how can we practicalize and move forward with the aspirations of our founding fathers? What we need to do, I think, in terms of, and I think some people might debate this issue, but you can talk about it later, all heads of state can take measures to have one united and influential voice at the UN Security Council. In this respect, they must elect the AU Commission Chair to have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. That's just my humble proposal. Africa should develop a governance and voting structure that allows him to represent the interest. And I forgot to congratulate him, His Excellency Mahmoud, because he's the current chair of the commission. What is the advantage of that? And I know Africans are lobbying to have each individual to have a seat, but that's not going to help us at all. Or Africa. I'm also a US citizen. I'm wearing my African hat right now to say that it wouldn't help Africa. Why it would actually strengthen the political and economic influence of all African nations in making decisions concerning conflict and economic relations within our shifting and precarious global landscape. It will have a positive impact on resolving conflict in Africa. It will also reduce the risk of undue influence, reprisals, and pressure that each African country can face in making decisions about conflict in other African countries and in the global landscape. It will strengthen also the positive perceptions and negotiating power and influence of all African nations. With that, I want to stop because I know that my brother is looking at me and wondering if I'm going to go overboard. But we can flesh out a little bit in terms of the voting and the governance structure that would take place within the AU Commission if that takes place. But thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Val. So it's always a pleasure to discuss with you. And And I like some of the connections also that you have made with the intervention of Ambassador Troy. And just related to this, I just released with the Brookings Institution a blueprint for U.S.-Africa relations under Trump. So, and I think that is a huge opportunity for collaboration, and we are looking forward to that collaboration, and we're so glad that you have a representation at the highest level, both from the Department of State and the White House here today. So let me now give the floor to His Excellency Agostinho Van Dunem, Ambassador of Angola, in his capacity as representative of the chair of the Union. Please give him a very warm welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Excellency Ambassador Suka Mafuzi, Excellency Ambassador Sergio Momboli, Excellency Ambassador Troy Fitrel, Excellency Ambassador Shimbamba from Zambia, Excellencies, members of the Diplomat Corps, distinguished guests. As Ambassador of the Republic of Angola, who currently shares the African Union, it's a great honor to address for your excellencies on this occasion. We gather today to celebrate a date of a profound significance. It's Africa Day, 25th of May, which marks the founding of the Organization of African Unity, now the African Union. It is the moment of a celebration, but also of a deep reflection. It reminds us of the enduring struggles and the remarkable achievements of our continent, and invites us to renew our collective commitment to the unity, peace, dignity, and sustainable and inclusive development for African peoples. May 25 is not just an anniversary. It is a symbol of hope, resistance, and solidarity among the African peoples. It is the renewal of our collective commitments to an Africa made by Africans and for Africans. Therefore, on this occasion, it is particularly meaningful to address both the African Diplomat Corps in the United States and our esteemed partners in the U.S. government and American society at large. African Day provides a timely platform to take stock of the state of U.S.-Africa relations, celebrate our shared history, and most importantly, envision a more balanced, forward-looking, and mutual beneficial partnership. Today, we come together not only to reflect on the current state of U.S.-African relations, but also to share a path forward to rooted and shared interests, mutual respect, and a renewed strategic vision. Excellencies, the priority of the Republic of Angola in its presence of the African Union seeks to respond to the challenges and aspirations of the continent. In the spirit of the African Day, we propose a reflection on transforming these data into a true space for dialogue and joint initiatives. The central idea is to institutionalize the Africa Day in Washington, D.C. as a time not only for celebration, but also for organized dialogue between the African Diplomat Corps and the U.S. authorities, including the State Department, Congress, and the relevant federal agencies. This should serve as a platform to review the African-U.S. agenda and identify priorities for joint action. To give substance to this dialogue, we suggest some themes such as peace and security. We recommend that the diplomat corps and U.S. authorities engage in dialogue on the peace and security, focusing on regional mediation efforts, prevention strategy, and post-conflict reconstruction. This concerted dialogue between the diplomat corps and U.S. authorities would complement and strengthen the African-led peace process already in progress. On the continental infrastructures projects, we must dialogue and invite the U.S. authorities to support the continental connectivity projects, particularly multinational corridors such as the Lobito Corridor and Tazara corridors, which facilitate free trade and the continent and Atlantic Indian economy. These investments are transformative and offer long-term mutual benefits for trade, energy, food security, mining, and regional integration, as well as job creation in Africa and also in America. Dialogue reforms on the financial system. The African Diplomat Corps should engage with U.S. institutions, including the Treasury and the multilateral banks, to advocate for a fair representation, great access to climate finance, and a just transition for African economies. We call for the new financial instruments to alleviate the debt burden of African countries. Dr. Val mentioned diaspora. The African diaspora in the United States is a pool of talent, identity, and influence. We propose the creation of a diaspora council within the African Union, representation with the African Union representation to promote partnership in education, entrepreneurship, innovation, and cultural diplomacy. The Council can help us organize major cultural and sporting events that also strengthen relation between the peoples from Africa and America. And finally, in alignment with the AU theme of 2025, we call for dialogue with U.S. authorities on the historical legacies of slavery, colonialism, and racial injustice, and the promotion of shared recognition, healing, and commitment to restorative measures. We firmly believe that the future of U.S. and African relations depends on our ability to turn good intentions into concrete commitments. Ladies and gentlemen, under the leadership of the President João Lourenço, Angola is committed to making its presidency a useful instrument in the service of the collective interests of the continent. In this context, the 17th summit, U.S.-Africa Summit, to be held on June 22nd and 25 in Rwanda, offers a historic opportunity to present Africa not only an investment destination, but as a strategic, young, and visionary partner in the global arena. May this Africa Day remind us that sustainable development is not possible without peace, and that no peace is lasting without justice. The challenges we face today require new energy, new diplomacy, and a new cooperation pact between Africa and the United States, based on mutual respect, shared responsibility, and a common future. As a president of temporary of the African Union, I call on the African Diplomat Corps and our American counterparts to seize these moments, Africa's moments, to turn aspiration into partnership and solidarity in strategic progress. Long life for African unity, long life for the African-US friendship. Thank you.
Incredibly amazing. Thank you so much, Excellency. And now for the closing remarks, we will give the floor to His Excellency Shibamba Favor Kanyama, the Ambassador of Zambia, very active. The first time he arrived in DC, we're already engaging and coming to Brookings to speak, among others. And he's also co-chair of the Public Affairs Committee in charge of Africa Day celebration. Excellency, you have the floor. Yes, please.
Good afternoon. May I simply say all protocols observed. We all know that this day was set for Sunday, which is the 25th of May. It was decided that Sunday should move to Friday, which is today, mainly because logistically people would be out over the weekend, may not be available. But the rest of Africa celebrated Africa Day on Sunday. So I want to say thank you all for agreeing to be here on a Friday afternoon. I speak on behalf of the two other co-chairs, Ambassador Robi Kakonge, Ambassador for Uganda, Ambassador Sabri Bokdam, Ambassador for Algeria. We received significant guidance, of course, from the Dean of Africa Diplomatic Corps here in the USA, Ambassador Momboli, who guided through a meeting held here how this day should be celebrated. And the word was, let us keep it simple, really simple. Fortunately or unfortunately, during the course of discussions, negotiations, with collaborating with colleagues, including our own diaspora, they wanted it to be really huge and very big. The diaspora wanted to come here to actually have an entertainment moment for the guests. Unfortunately, we limited it to 3 hours. 1 hour being here and 2 hours to tour around here and sample African food. There's good food. There should be food from Ambassador Fitrell. I'm told there's a dish which has prepared for us all. Am I right? Yeah, good. But of course, I want to also give credit. I know Ambassador Sukamafuze gave a lot of credit to this committee. Actually, much of the work was done by the team here at the Secretariat. And I want to say thank you. We were able to actually get the diaspora. Only few members of the diaspora were allowed to be part of us, including the lady who performed, Abby Koya, all the way from California, just to be with us this afternoon. As I conclude, on behalf of Your Excellencies present here, I see some are right at the very back. Mozambique ambassador is by the camera. I'm worried about you there where you are, Your Excellency. Are you okay? Good, thank you. Thank you very much. So as I conclude, I want to say this is not a one-off event. Collaboration is not a one-off event. This committee, working in conjunction with the diplomatic corps, will continue to engage various stakeholders to create better understanding and appreciation of what we are delivering as a collective unit. A lot is currently happening on the African continent in terms of investments in infrastructure, technology, energy, agriculture, health, and mining. And I'm well pleased to hear from Ambassador Fitrell say it's not about potential. It's about what is already taking place on the African continent right now. So the strategies we are employing are to shape perceptions so that people see us better, not about whatever is inherent risk, which we have managed now. The African continent is having for significant investments from across the world. So these strategies are aimed at enhancing this perception, and we shall work and collaborate with media, in other words, media engagements in the USA. We want to showcase our cultural diversity, and you'll be able to see our diversity as we conclude now, as you go out over the corridors. And we also want to engage better with various think tanks, universities, young people in the USA, the citizens, in order to foster these positive relationships. And above all, we want to work better with the new administration. I thank you.
Incredibly amazing, Excellency, and you mentioned a close collaboration with think tank, with university. I just informed that, of course, due to the special partnership with Excellency Sukamafuze, so the Thunderbird School of Global Management is offering a $20,000 scholarship to all the members of the diplomatic corps interested in the Executive Master in Global Affairs and Management, which happened once, 1 weekend a month, and is completed within a year. So all credit due to Excellency. And now, Excellency, you also mentioned entertainment. So I think Miriam should be ready for, we will have a couple of very quick activities here, and we will go for a collective picture outside after those activities. So please bear with us for a second. So, please give another very warm applause. Another one coming? Okay. So, we'll have continued entertainment outside, but just before, do we have Victor, Ella in the room? Victor? Okay, Victor. Victor is the founder of Elibi, showcasing Africa through educational initiative, and he has a few questions to share and a few gifts to handle. So please give him a very warm welcome.
Thank you very much, and happy Africa Day to everybody.
Happy Africa Day.
Happy Africa Day. I'm a diplomat from Equatorial Guinea, but in my free time, I'm also dedicated to creating games to showcase African culture, history, geography, and things like that. So I wanted to take this opportunity to share some giveaways with you, but I want you to earn it. I just don't want to give it away. So if you would allow me, I would just ask a few questions, and if you think you know the answer, please raise your hand and I'll give you the floor. And I'm going to give you, these are the kind of things that we do. This is a puzzle celebrating Africa Day. This is probably for your kids. We have pastimes with crosswords and things like that, all Africa related. We have the board game, Africana One, with the board game, Africana One. And we also have the app version that you can find both in the App Store and the other one for what is the other one? For the Play Store, the App Store and the Play Store. So I've got a few questions. So first one, what island, historically inhabited by the Bubi people, is home to Malabo, the capital of Equatorial Guinea? That is correct. You've won yourself one of this. I'll give it to you a bit later. Second, on the first verse of Free Mind, Thames describes how she wakes up at 5 in the morning to do what? In the first verse of Free Mind, Thames describes how she wakes up at 5 in the morning to do what? It's a song by Thames. You've heard of Thames, right? No Nigerians in the house? Okay. I'll move on. The answer was to fight for her earnings. Number 3. What African soccer star forming his local Liberty Professionals Club has played successively for the following top teams: Bastia, Lyon, Chelsea, Real Madrid, AC Milan, Panathinaikos, Percy Banduk, and retired in 2020 for Sabile FK? No, not Liberian George Weah, but close. You say what? Yeah, we got, Ambassador has got it, Michael Essien, yeah. You said it? Okay. We're going to give you another crossword puzzle. Number 4. What tragic event that took place on January 17th, 1971, Pan-Africanists should never forget? January 17, 1971, in Lubumbashi, Congo? No. That is correct. We can check that out. I'll check it out. 61. My bad. Okay. My bad. Ambassador. Thank you. It's a typo. I did it with AI. Number 5th question. Abubakar Diallo Telly was a Guinean diplomat who held the inaugural position of the Secretary General of the Organization of African Unity, 1964 to 1972. Who succeeded him in that role? Name and nationality. Second Secretary General of the Organization of African Unity. He was from Cameroon. Excuse me? That is correct. Whoever said it. That is correct. So, if you can come up later to our stand, if you can visit our stand, I'll give you your prizes. Thank you very much.
You can't give the prize now.
Okay. Yeah. I'll give you the prizes now.
And we need a picture as to when you are giving the prizes.
Okay. Okay. You were the first one. Can you come up, please? That's a special one because Bioko is my home.
Ah, fantastic.
Thank you very much. There you go. Okay. There was a question about terms that nobody answered, but the one about Michael Essien.
Yes.
Ambassador, you got the last one, right?
Yes.
That's the big prize. That is the big one.
Thank you.
On the other side. Can you take the picture again, please?
Thank you.
Mr. Michael Essien.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Thank you.
This is for you. It's a pleasure. And the last one was for the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. Yes, Ambassador.
Yes, Excellency.
Okay, I've given it to you.
But I'll give you another one, Ambassador. I'll give you another prize. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody. You can look us up. We have a lot of questions and a lot of games like this. We're online and we're also going to be on the third floor. Thank you.
Amazing. Please give another round of applause. So now, instead of going out for the picture, I think it's better to take the pictures here. So this will be the final activity in this room, and then everyone can go. So we have the photographer who will help us navigate, but stay seated and
For your question, it has been a very lovely day, and a day where even the leadership here of the US is confirming that Africa is not like there's potential. No, Africa is making it. Africa is actually there, and Africa is firming up. And today, Africa Days, today has been a special day for all of us coming together. We have had support from the White House. They are all here. From the National Security Council, they are all here. From the State Department of the US government, we have gotten really so much good support. And what it means for us is we look forward to a very, very special relationship. And Ambassador Fitroli has mentioned it, who is a guru on issues of Africa in the State Department of the USA. He says the time to run with Africa is actually now, and to make a difference. Africa is on the move with its young demography of the youth, and also the leadership that is leading. We say from today, Africa Day, the leadership has been leading from 1963 up to today, and we are saying along the way there has been leadership celebrating Africa unity, and the USA has adapted to that. And we have heard Mayor Bowser's proclamation to recognize the Africa Day, which we are celebrating today, which has made a very big difference. Mayor Bowser has brought a proclamation, and it says from today on, every year, we will look forward to the celebration of Africa Day at this Africa House. Thank you very much.
Yes, what my takeaway is that let's go turn everything we talked about today into action. I'm very, very optimistic about everybody that came to this event. We're all very, very, very hopeful that, of course, Africa has united, but Africa is going to continue to unite, and we will have peace through strength.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. So thank you so much for having me, and a few things were extremely important today. So the first is to see the African diaspora, the African diplomatic corps, and to also see the U.S. government, the government of Washington, D.C. coming together as one to celebrate Africa. This was really incredibly amazing. We have also seen many of the panelists sharing important insight about Africa today and about the different actions and strategies which will help shape the future of Africa. So that's also something else that I have really enjoyed. And when Africa meets, we often have as I would say, moments of celebration. So I've also deeply appreciated the entertaining moment, the cultural activities with beautiful dance from Cameroon and as well as important representation from other countries. Ultimately, I want to express my deep gratitude to Her Excellency Ambassador Suka Mafudze, the African Union Ambassador to the United States, but also to the Dean of Ambassador, to the Diplomatic Corps, to the staff, and to the members of the diaspora who came, but also to the representative of the U.S. government, including from the Department of State, from the White House, and the representative of the city of Washington, D.C. So these are the key takeaways for me from this incredibly amazing moment, and I'm looking forward to continuing the celebration. We have many diplomatic representation, who have people who are showcasing the important art, culture, dance, food from all over Africa. So it's an event not to miss.